We live in a fast-paced and hectic world where it's easy to feel overwhelmed, stressed, and out of control. How do you manage all the competing pressures without losing sense of yourself? How do you stay focused enough to not only plot a path, but follow it? Welcome to Recovery Road, a show that offers inspiration, insight, and intelligence, as well as success stories from many walks of life that can show you how you can control your own destiny. Our knowledgeable and entertaining hosts and their guests give practical advice that you can use every day on your road to recovery. Now, here are your hosts, Leaha Mattinson and Greg Bird.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's show. I'm so excited to have each and every one of you from around the world joining us to listen in to whatever current shenanigans we're up to in the best, most possible awesome sense. I'm host Leaha Mattinson. It's my absolute pleasure to once again welcome to the show Crystal Evans. Crystal, how are you today?
I am doing super. I'm in sunny, beautiful Costa Rica, looking at you, and then also looking at a beautiful volcano.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It's great. It's an awesome start to my morning.
Absolutely. I can tell you I'm not looking at that. I'm so that's very awesome. Now, for people who have not met you before, Crystal, I want to just do a little reminder, a little shout out that if people want to see previous episodes with you, they can come to the masteryourlife.ca website and check out all of your episodes that we've done together. Most of them are about courageous travel, and you can find those on the Roadmap to the Realms podcast series. So a little shout out to, if you want to know more about Crystal, then come to the website right away. There's at least 3 episodes there that are ready to go, and you can see her wild adventures. For today's show, we're going to focus in on an offering that Crystal has in order to help people to get unstuck or to make a little bit more money, to improve their financial picture and to improve sort of the quality of life, I think. So Crystal, without further ado, let's talk about who are you and what is it that you are thinking about offering to people at this point in your life?
Yes. Yeah. So I am, first of all, like you always note, a mother. Yes. I'm a mother of 4 amazing children ranging from ages 4 to 14. And then several children were raised in my home who didn't have moms in Uganda. And so I also consider them myself, my children. And then when my grandma, who has Alzheimer's, asks me how many children I have, I kind of joke with her sometimes. I tell her, like, I have 200 because yes. I started a school in Uganda. She's like, 200 children. I said, they're all my children, Grandma.
And you look amazing.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, they keep you young.
But besides being a mother, I'm also an entrepreneur, and I believe that all moms can dream, and all moms can be entrepreneurs. And a lot of times I think in particular, the people who get the most flack about starting and doing business and about like pursuing their dreams, a lot of times is moms. I mean, I think across the board, there's a lot of like dream cops out there who want to, like, if you want to have a dream, they tell you all the 500 reasons it won't work. But then like moms get like 1,000 reasons why it's not going to work instead of 500.
That's right.
So first of all, I want to encourage all moms. You can do it. You can be an entrepreneur. So I'll give a little bit of my back history really quick and then tell what I'm doing right now. Because what I'm doing right now is offering a Courageous Speaker's Secrets course, which helps people to be able to tell their story. So I call it story selling, in a way so that you're selling and making an impact, both. But why I'm going to tell my backstory is because the reason why I'm here today offering this is because it is through speaking and through sharing my story that I have been able to source the funds to build a whole entire school, to build a hotel, and to start a safari company, and then also to be getting paying clients online. And then this is why I'm packaging everything together to help people to be able to do the exact same thing in whatever industry, in whatever dream that they happen to have. Yeah. So, like I said, I lived in Uganda for 8 years. And during those 8 years, I started school. And the preschool I started was just 2 small mud classrooms and then eventually grew all the way up to 7th grade, and eventually grew. We've actually had one girl, she got a full ride scholarship to a university in Costa Rica. And I've had other students who are in high school who have been able to get scholarships or sponsorships. Unfortunately, right now, because of what's going on, kids in Uganda have barely gone to school for 2 years. Mm-hmm. It's awful. They put them in school for like 2 months and then they're out again for months and months and months. Little side note. So yes. I'm really irritated about that and what's going on in the world.
Yes, righteously outraged, I think, is a proper word. The mother's anger.
It's okay to have that righteous outrage. And right now there are a lot of things that cause righteous outrage. And so more than ever, we need courageous speakers to rise up, because we need courageous solutionaries. We need courageous visionaries. We need people who are going to have wild faith and just step out and be like, I'm going to do this. I don't know what the results are going to be or how they're going to be, but I'm going to be a part of the solution and a part of the answer. So I built that school. And so through that, my signature program would be a child sponsorship program. And I've actually helped one of my clients who's come through my Courageous Speaking program. She also was helping orphans. And so I helped her to create a signature program where also she could begin to receive sponsorship, because she was just helping them out of her own pocket. And so then I told my story, and I sold people, it's funding, but it's like selling, into sponsoring children, as well as then I got funding for building classrooms, funding for putting in water tanks, both for the whole community at the school, as well as water tanks in individual people's homes, helping repair homes. Like sometimes the rains would come and pound people's little mud homes, and then they wouldn't have a home. So we'd raise funds to be able to rebuild them a home. Or we had a kid who needed surgery. Like he had some major problem and was going to lose his life. But because of the Courageous Speaker Secrets, because I knew how to use speaking and storytelling, I was able to, in a minute, I told them, send him to the hospital. Now, I wasn't in Uganda at the time. I believe I was in Canada. And I saw the pictures and his eyes were really yellow. And I said, oh my goodness, he has jaundice. And that means that's an indicator of something being wrong in his internal organs. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, we took him to the little town clinic. I said, no, take him to the hospital. They're like, how are we going to pay? I said, that's my responsibility. Mm-hmm. Your responsibility is, here, I'm sending you money. Get him to the hospital right now. By the time he's at the hospital, I'm going to have the funding figured out for whatever the problem is. And so then we found out he had to have some intestines removed, put back together, blah, blah, blah. And we were able to do that. And so it works. This works in the charity realm in helping others. And then it works in the business realm. So for the hotel, I raised money to get investors, people who would invest into the hotel, and either they get their money back on return, or a lot of them were investing and then kind of like as a timeshare. So then they would have their time to always come back every year and stay in the room that they built. So it works with investors, and then it also works with paying clients, both offline and online. So with the safari company, it was through story sharing that I got most of my clients who came in. And one time in particular, one guy heard me tell a story at a little cafe in San Francisco. There was and then he was a Stanford student. He decided to bring all of his Stanford professors and their families on a safari, and booked the safari through me. And so that was an incredible experience, right? To be able to book that for them. But it's all because one person, I had a group of 13 people, but one person heard my story. And that's all it takes, is one person to hear your story, to change their lives and to change your life financially. And so that's what I love to encourage people to do. And now in particular, I specialize in a system that helps people to be able to do this online. Mm-hmm. Because right now, as we know, the world is weird. And depending where you are, like some places, people have a lot of freedom to go ahead and still get on a live stage, whether they're vaccinated or unvaccinated, whether they wear a mask or they don't wear a mask. But there's a lot of places in the world right now that you don't have that freedom. And there's a lot of people who value freedom and they don't want to have to wear a mask or they don't want to have to vaccinate. And so this provides a great platform for anybody, whether they are masked and vaccinated or unmasked and not vaccinated. But this is where the world is right now, is online is a great way to reach people, not only for that reason of maybe you not being able to get on stages depending on the government control in whatever country you live in, but also because now, like I said, I'm here, I'm in Costa Rica. Before I was talking to you, I was in Mexico. We've had a phone call when I was in California recently. So we've been able to connect, not even face to face, right?
Right.
And so this is the beauty. You can make friendships across the world and you can make business across the world. So there might be a problem you solve, and you might not end up only solving it for people in your town. You might end up solving that problem for somebody in Canada. You might end up solving that problem for somebody in Spain. You might end up solving that problem for somebody in Australia. And that person, let's just throw it out. Let's say your thing that you're super passionate about is health, right? And maybe somebody in Australia right now cannot go to the gym, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but you could offer a health program that brings that right into their home. Mm-hmm. And so all of a sudden, these people are able to have a service that they cannot go out into their community and have right now. And beyond just having that service, they can have that connection, because people are craving that connection. And I'm a huge 100% promoter of like human connection, lots of hugs, lots of in-person. I think there's a great energy that brings when we have in person, but I'm also a huge fan of being able to connect people online, bring hope online, and help people raise their faith and raise their vibration and raise their quality of life online. And so through the Courageous Speaker Secrets, whatever your particular solution is, I also teach people how they can use speaking and present their solution and deliver their solution online as well as in person.
Awesome. So let's talk about the group of women who are listening to this right now. And the reason I want to speak into this a bit is because a lot of people have little ideas about what they want to do, sparks of inspiration, but they don't necessarily take action on it. In fact, some people will say, I've held this dream in my heart for 10 years. I was just waiting for the kids to grow up. I've held this dream in my heart for 20 years, 30 years. I've been just waiting for the fill in the blank here before I do whatever the thing is that really I lay awake at night and think about doing, or the person I lay in bed at night thinking about being. What are the signals that people can look for and grab onto? Because I think it's one thing if people have they think you got to have a well-developed idea in order to take the next step, to take a speaking course. But what do people and women really need to do that? Do you think, from your experience?
Sure. Well, first of all, especially like I was saying with the moms and dreams, ditch the social pressure not to dream as a mom, because there's a lot of social pressure. Like, I've heard it from my family and lots of other people, despite everything I've done. Right. Well, you can't really do that, Crystal. Like, you have kids. You're like traveling the world with your kids. You can't do that. I am doing it, right?
Oh, surprise. Look at me. I'm doing it.
So really, I think becoming secure in yourself, but in your worthiness. Mm-hmm. Everyone, just because you have kids, or even let's say if you have you have Hutchinson's disease, right? Yeah. So Huntington's. If you have some kind of sickness, maybe some people are struggling with depression. Maybe some people, you just have some real genuine fears. all of these things, we have to realize no matter what we have in our life, because we're all going to have some kind of challenge in our life, whether it's a social pressure, whether it's a physical illness, whether it's a mental illness, whether it's a financial struggle, whether it's a fear, whether it's feeling alone or whatever. We all have challenges. I don't think I've ever met one person that didn't have some challenge. But the problem is a lot of times we allow the challenge to identify who we are. And so we allow this to take on like the ownership of who we are. So, oh, I'm just a wife. I'm just a mother, or, you know, I have anxiety, or, you know, I have cancer, or I have, you know, I've had a terrible, I have no credit, you know, my credit score is terrible, or whatever it is. Like we have all these different, can have all these different things that are, but this cannot define us. And one thing in particular, like on one of the sessions I did, I shared a poem with you, right? And in that poem, I was speaking to who people really are, to who their real identity is. And that's the other thing that I think holds people back a lot of times, is words that people have spoken over you. So maybe you've been told that you weren't worthy, or maybe you've been told that you were stupid, or maybe you've been told that will never work. And so what we have to do is not allow the fact that somebody's told us that will never work, or allow the fact that maybe somebody has spoken something mean or cruel, or they just, you know, they genuinely just don't have control of their words, right?
Yeah,
they don't have, people do not have a right, and our own thoughts do not have a right to control us.
So I think what happens for some women, for moms, is that they have stuff going on and they go, I can't do it because this thing over here isn't perfect. It isn't perfect over here, so I can't do this thing over here. And so you put up the, what I call the paper tigers. It's like those things that are fictional that take away your ability to do stuff instead of just doing it. So I want to go back. I want to take you back.
You stated that.
Let's go back to Uganda a bit, because I want people to understand this context a bit. Like, how old were you when you did that? What age were you?
How old was I when well, I first went to Uganda as a student abroad. So I think I was 22 then. I went back when I was 25. I started my school when I was 26.
Right. Okay. So I just want to give some frame of reference for people, because again, it's like whatever age you are, it's like,
and I had a daughter on my hip at the time. Yeah. Right. I was a single mom. Yeah. I had a 1.5-year-old on my hip, and I bought a one-way airplane ticket to Uganda.
Right. To Uganda.
And within a year started the school.
Yeah. So that whole, right now, what we're facing, I think too, is that there is a huge number of women who feel like they can't provide for their families. They can't provide for their families, so therefore they sell their soul, what I call sell their soul to the devil for $3,000 a month. So they're doing things that actually rob them of their integrity. They feel like they're trapped, and that their life has not got any meaning beyond whatever it is that they're doing day to day. It actually sucks the life out of them. So right now, in this particular set of challenges globally, the more that you can actually feel like you are the one in control of your pocketbook, because the things that matter in your life are your ability to provide shelter, food, and clothing to your family. Your ability to do that directly influences everything else that you do. And so when you cannot take care of that, you feel helpless, you feel hopeless, you feel trapped. And so this episode is for those women who are feeling like, the ones who go, I really have it all and I want to do something else because I have other things to share, but also for women who are really feeling like, wow, I feel trapped. I don't feel like I can engineer enough money to actually put food on my table for my family. This is not a position I want to be in 3 months from now or 1 month from now. How fast, when you went to Uganda, how fast did you actually make your first dollar for that school?
Yeah, so when I went to Uganda, it just took faith. I mean, this is what it took, and every step since then, I would say it's the same thing. It's taken just the faith and the belief that it will work out, and the faith that I'm going to have the right divine connections.
Yeah.
The faith that I can do it. And one thing I say is, like, if you don't know exactly everything to do, just take the next right step. So, like, if you don't know how to climb the mountain, it's okay. Take the next right step. And in particular, like with the thing about perfection,
yes,
that thing is huge. It keeps people from developing themselves. Like one of the ladies who I've done who's come through my Courageous Speakers course, she had struggled with that for such a long time, with having to feel like she had to be perfect. And now I've seen her go basically launch her business. She had a few paying clients before coming into my program. And since going into my program, and I really shared with her how to share her story. And I told her, you know what? It's okay to share your story, that you were that financially strapped single mom in the bathroom crying, and that your child comes in her leopard pajamas with her suitcase and pulls out her stones and her rocks and her twigs and her little treasures and says, "It's okay, mommy, we're going to be okay. Look at all the things I have to sell." I told her, tell that story, because she was able to go from that to being able to provide for herself, but then she was still wanted to do something even more. So when she came to me, she'd been able to have provision, but wanted to do more. I said, tell your story about where you were, then tell how you were able to get married. Tell how you were able to even help financially contribute towards your wedding. Tell them how you were able to buy a house. And since then, since being in my Courageous Speakers program, she's quit her job. And now she full-time is helping women who have struggled financially. So she created a whole program helping women who are struggling financially to kind of ditch their money drama. So, because what I do is I help people package their program. So create a program based around their story, based around where they have expertise. People have an expertise in every single area, and sometimes it's not where you want to have an expertise. So like another woman that I've helped, her package is basically that she helps coach women who have been through betrayal in their marriage, because she herself went through the pains of being betrayed. She herself went through the process of healing from that betrayal. And so now she helps other women heal from that betrayal. So the one thing I would say to any woman struggling with, like, feeling like you have to be perfect, every woman has a story of some kind of challenge, some kind of pain, some kind of thing that you've overcome. And even if you haven't 100% overcame it, if you've overcome it 10%, there's somebody at 1% that needs to know the knowledge of how to get from 1% to 10%. If you've overcome it 25%, there is somebody at 10% who needs to know how they make it to the 25%. And so you are an expert. You do carry something that you can share with the world. You carry your story. You carry what you've overcome. I call it creating your kick-ass statement, where life has kicked you, but you've kicked back. And a lot of times you see where life has kicked you, maybe like it's devalued you. It hasn't devalued you, because you kicked back. And in kicking back, your character developed. In kicking back, your persistence developed. In kicking back, your compassion developed. In kicking back, you learned new skills that you never had before. And so just because something's kicked you, don't let that define you. How did you kick back? And how you kicked back is the value you add to other people. You have value because of the very thing that tried to attack you, because you didn't let it take you down.
And that's a powerful, powerful position to understand that it's a thorn in the paw. It's not the thing that's supposed to decimate your whole life, so, and for most people, there's not just one, but there's many.
Yes,
many,
that's true.
Like many crossroads.
Onion layers of challenges.
That's right. Exactly. It seems like there's less challenges once you get on the path to do the next right thing, though. And so this is one of the key takeaways from this little. I always encourage people get a pen and paper out, take some notes, because then you'll actually go back consciously and look at this and go, what did I learn today from this podcast? Did it have value, and what kind of value did it create for me? And one of the key essential things, really, I think, is that the whole idea of doing the next right thing and thinking about what is the right thing to do here. Sometimes that's not the easy thing. Sometimes that's not the simple thing. Sometimes that's not the somebody's helping me thing. Sometimes that's just really the right thing. And so how do you
Sure.
actually identify that quote unquote right thing, Crystal? How do you do that in your process?
How do I do that in my own life? Well, I try to get a little bit of quiet time from my kids, which, as you can see right now, here I have one with me.
Yes.
He has his spoon in his hand and has been drumming all around. So you saw me walking. I was trying to like get a little bit away from the drumming.
Yes.
So that was more clear. How do I identify the next right thing? Well, what action, like let's say if I have a big goal, let's say, you know, I know that I need to speak on something. Okay, then maybe, let's say putting together a whole speech is going to be hard, but maybe I can put together, just write down the points. Like, okay, what points am I going to talk about? So you can start there. Or like how I'm in Costa Rica. A lot of times, actually, the next right step for me, not necessarily business-wise, but life-wise, I let compassion direct me. So I saw a friend who was struggling, had some personal struggles due to decisions that they made after losing kind of everything in COVID. So I reached out and asked some people, you know, hey, would you be able to help this person? I looked for treatment and solutions for the individual, and they were found. And then now I'm going on this trip with the individual as a part of, I mean, I'm having a great time myself, but a part of it is also supporting somebody. So that was compassion driven. I think a lot of times we need to listen to compassion, but the other thing is like taking a course can be the next right step. I was in a homeless shelter after I left an abusive marriage, after I built my hotel, after I built my school, after, you know, everything. So, and after even I'd come back and started my own business, but then I fled California fires. And I had an amazing male relative who told me, hey, come here and live with me. And then the night before I showed up to live with him, he said, hey, I live with a part-time drug dealer. You can't live with me.
Oh,
so
no kidding, right?
I was like, shoot. And so
Thanks.
like literally what
Letting me know.
happened that night, that individual told me that we had just driven 5 days fleeing California fires, because I'd moved from an abusive relationship to California, fled fires. And he told me that in my car, I pulled up into a huge mansion's driveway with my kids.
Yeah.
And slept there and said, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. so they don't know I'm sleeping there. Right. And that was the scariest night in my life, Leah. There was no night scarier than that, I think, in my life, other than I would say actually once when my ex-husband was drunk and beat me. That was the other scariest night. So see, I've gone through challenges, and I just say it straight. These are challenges I've been through, but I've risen. And so I took a course when I was in a homeless shelter. I got a loan. I didn't even have the money. I got a loan for it, took the course, and it was about online business, and said, I'm going to do this. And then I could have taken it just for rent or something, right? But I took it for learning, for education, for getting myself out of this situation I'm in. And then a few months later, I was able to start my business, start traveling the world with my kids. And my first course that I created then my thing that I did was create a course. My first course I created, I sold for a whopping $200. So at the time, that was my next right thing, was selling at a level I could sell. And I actually sold it before I created the course. And this is one thing that I teach people to do, because I teach people to put together a signature program. Then I teach them to put together their signature speech. And then I teach them to use their signature speech to sell their program. But I also teach them, before their program is even created, how to use their story in posts to begin to sell their program. So that right away you can begin to sell. And so I put up a post, same day, somebody wrote me, same day, got on a phone call. And this is before I've even taken courses on, and had coaching on sales phone calls, right? But this was before I even had coaching on that. Got on a phone call and sold my first course. And so the great thing though is, because I've educated myself on this and I've used the system myself, I'm able to then help people with it, right? So they don't have to figure it out all on their own. And I've seen with the course I took, when I got that loan, they kind of promised to teach one thing that they never taught. And which is the part that I really, really, really wanted to know. And so now that's one of the things that I really help people with, is that.
What was that
part of things, and really just walk beside people. And it's been incredible, the people that I've got to help, because I've got to help, like one lady I helped, she went through sexual abuse as a child, and now she's creating a program that helps other women heal from going through sexual abuse in their adulthood, because a lot of times people have never had anybody to openly talk about it with, nobody to process it with. And again, they've allowed that to define their worthiness. And she helps them to change their story and to see their worthiness and to see how beautiful and amazing they are, and to heal through the process and then end up on the other side. And I've helped somebody, they created a course on inner peace. And now they were never coaching people before. Now they have paying clients that they are coaching. And on a topic, he helps business owners who have, very successful businesses, but they don't have peace. So you might think this is again where I say you might have an expertise and you don't think is expertise. Who's really going to think, wow, I'm an expert at inner peace, right? But so I help people find where where your value is, because there are people that have millions of dollars and have no peace. Or there's people, so he's able to help these people who maybe are way more financially advanced than him. He's been able to offer coaching program to them, and they're paying him, and he's showing them how they can have peace in their business, peace in their family, peace in their life. And that's what I love that I'm doing, right? And I don't know how I got in that tangent, but I love it. So,
but I love it. So I'm talking about it. That's very good. Yes. And I think that is a leading indicator of when people think about for themselves, what is it that I love to talk about? What is it I love to think about? What has been sort of my biggest challenge that I've overcome? And then to write that down. Again, it's like writing things down, taking a look at it, and also then not getting stuck at the shame part where you don't want to share it or talk about it. And that realizing that if you hold that treasure to your own chest and that you don't actually share with other people, then you're really just kind of you're not contributing to the overall awesome harmonic of the universe, because you're not letting go of your journey and sharing it. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone, needs to speak to thousands of people.
Sure. Exactly.
You're figuring it out for yourself. What is the right formula for your business, for your offering, for your life through your course? Is that correct, Crystal? Yes,
that's correct. So you don't have to share everything with everybody. And there might be some, but just like this particular individual I shared how she's made the course about abuse. There's plenty of people who've been through abuse, and maybe that's not what your course is about. Maybe your course is about how you have a great system in place for lead generation. Right. And, maybe you didn't have any leads at first. You searched and you tried this and you tried this and you tried that, and you found out that all those ways are not the best way to get lead generation, but this is it. And you are powerfully getting leads for one kind of business. Let's say you have, one type of business you're getting leads for, but now you realize through building your business and becoming an expert in building your business, you learned a particular skill. And so now even that particular skill you learned, you can go ahead and share and create another business based on, in this case, showing people lead generation. And now I remember why I came to where I went with everything and how I love helping people. Is you asked, how do I often know what the next right step is? Well, actually, one of the biggest ways I know what the next best right step is what scares me the most, or what I absolutely hate doing, or what I totally do not want to do. So
can you give an example of that, Crystal?
That's what it is. Because even if you have, let's say, like, a list of things to do or something, if you first do the thing that like scares you the most or you challenge the most, it kind of, you start your day as an overcomer. You're like, woohoo, I did this thing I didn't want to do, and now I'm on top of it. Now I can do everything.
Right. And that can be little things. So I think this is a really key and important.
Yes, little things.
Can be started with making your bed.
Out a form.
Yeah, it can
like,
be
let's say you hate filling out forms.
Making your bed. Making your bed.
Yes,
it can be really simple things. I don't want to do da-da-da. But that whole it's like, but you do. It's like going, no, I really do want to do it. I don't, but I do. And then making yourself.
Then when your bed is made, you feel a lot better.
Yeah, or whatever, whatever it is, cleaning up.
Or whatever it is, yeah.
Whatever the thing is.
It could be jumping, it could be, maybe you're afraid, it could be jumping on a call with me. And we talk about right. What you have, where you've been, and if my program works for you. That could be a next first right step, right? Something like that. Because that can be scary because it's beginning to commit to your dream. You know what? I'm really going to do it. I'm really done saying that I'm going to. I'm really done with everything. I'm just going to do it. And if you just want to do it, I'm somebody who will help you do it. But if it's a different area, find somebody. If you're not looking for the kind of coach I am, find somebody who's going to help you. Find somebody who's going to hold you accountable. Find somebody who's going to encourage you. I think the next right step for anybody towards their dream is to find the right support system. If I can be that right support system, awesome. I'm so happy to be there. If somebody else is going to be your right support system, reach out to them. Reach out today. Like when you are done hearing this, reach out to somebody right away and commit to your dreams. Just right. I commit to my dreams. I commit to adding value. I commit to making a difference. I commit to telling my story. I commit to getting the support I need to birth my dreams into reality. And then reach out to me or reach out to anybody who's going to help you in that.
Yes. And I want to talk a little bit about the quality mentorship and how important that is. So this reaching out to anybody, I always say to people.
Okay, maybe not anybody. That's true.
So what I say to people is to think about this. What is it that you're trying to create in your life? Because people do this all the time. They'll hire a coach that actually hasn't done what they want to do. They haven't created what they want to create. And so we've got 8 minutes. So I'm going to spend a bit of time talking about this because it's a big Achilles heel for a lot of people, is that they invest in not just financially, but also in their heart and soul with people who actually don't have the result that they're trying to create. And so that causes then this other thing, which is they don't risk trying again. I'm just going to so that there's no background noise. So the
I think that's my 3-year-old doing karate.
Yeah.
Oh, he's 4 now. My 4-year-old doing karate. He recently had a birthday.
Yes, little sweetie pie. So back into the mentorship then. So if you want to have a coach that is a mom of kids and is running a business and is successful, then Crystal's the one to get a hold of to talk about that. And I got approached by a coach probably 10 years ago. Now I've raised also hundreds of children. So I gave birth to 2 and raised another 4. And then people also would joke, same thing. It's like that whole, man, like your house always has the jillion extra kids. but you learn a whole bunch of skills when you have those factors in your life, So I had a young man approach me about coaching me to do speaking. And I was asking him about his life. And his life was that he had done a whole bunch of speaking all over the world. I think he had done 200 speeches. I said, well, so that's really incredible. Tell me about your actual life. And he was a young guy who was married. They had no children. He had no concept of what my life actually was. So for me to hire him, I would have had to, in my mind, be crazy. Like, he had no idea what I was dealing with, what I would have to overcome, what I had to cope with. Like, there was no match there. Yet I see people do that.
I think you brought up a great point there. Not only the skill set, do they have the skill set? Do they have the results? Have they done it? But do they understand you and what you're going through? And especially like as a mom, I find particularly like, not all the times, because I have had good male coaches, yes. But I think in reality, I think a woman coach is a good choice for women who are moms, because then they're going to get it. They're going to get the fact that, you had to like clean up, throw up that morning, or that you have to drive kids to school, mm-hmm. or, that you were working on something and your child had a tantrum, or whatever it is. They're going to understand the process that it's going to take for you, and they're going to honor that process, and they're going to honor where you're at. And I think it's important that you find that, and then just somebody that resonates with you as well. Mm-hmm. Because one of the other things I do is I write copy for people's sales funnels. And I was yesterday writing one and I mean, what the guy has to offer is amazing. Mm-hmm. But I thought, this is so like male and so logical and so like, just analytical, step. I was like, I would never purchase this, but I'm sure right. Like many men will purchase it, and probably even many women will. But I mean, I feel like women were more creative, we're more flowy, we're a little more open-ended, and we like to. And my whole thing's about telling your story and emotional connection. So like the emotional part, not just the intellect part. So who do you identify with? Because some people might identify specifically more with that intellectual part, or more of a spiritual part, or more emotional part. So just who resonates with you? You feel like, wow, this person resonates with me.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And that this whole journey is like, if you've never told your story before and you've got a really incredible, important story that you've been like it's like biting your tongue or clenching your teeth about sharing, this is a really good, safe place to actually do that. Would you say that, Crystal? I think that's.
Oh, yes, because I've had people who were afraid to tell their story. Mm-hmm. And then they boldly step out and are now like reaching out to churches saying, hey, I want to tell my story. Right. I want you to know my story. And I've had people who are terrified of sales, admitted they're completely afraid of sales. And then they put on their first paying workshop and get paying clients. And they're like, yes, this is amazing, Crystal. And so one thing about faith also, you can borrow people's faith. This is an awesome thing that a lot of times people don't know. Like a lot of times people think they have to have all their own self-confidence. They have to have all their own faith. You can have faith in a system, first of all. So if there's a system that works and you still don't know exactly how it works, you can step out and start taking steps in that system, knowing this system has been proven, it's brought results for people before. Mm-hmm. So you can put your faith knowing that the system works. But the other thing I tell people all the time, you can borrow my faith, because I'm going to believe in you until you believe in yourself. And so that's about creating that safe place, right? Mm-hmm. Is even if you're wavering a little bit on your self-confidence, if you have some self-doubt, if you can do it, I'm going to be there and I'm going to know you can do it. Right. And I'm going to build you up. And then one of the things I help to build people up is I found a lot of people need not just to get on a stage and speak. A lot of times they think, I just need to get on a stage and speak, or I just need more money. I desperately need more money. I need to make sales like yesterday times 500. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, a lot of times I find that what they really need is somebody to believe in them, so that they can believe in themselves, so that they can build what they need to build themselves. And I believe I'm a great person at that. I mean, from the time I was in high school, I was getting like awards for the most encouraging teammate, right? So the word encourage is to give courage to somebody else. So anybody, even if you don't have that much courage, because my thing is courageous speakers secrets, even if you, and then all my other things, you know, like courageous travel, blah, blah. If you don't have the courage, it's okay. I will encourage you. I'm going to lend you my courage. I'm going to give you my courage. And then you're going to walk away making sales you never knew you could make. Or maybe you're already making awesome sales, but you have a story you haven't yet shared. You're going to tell that story for the first time. Or maybe you're going to scale your business to the next level. Or maybe you're going to start your first business. But whatever it is, I'm here to lend people courage. And to encourage people, the best, I did not have an email list. Check this out. No email list. No, Facebook was only family posts. Mm-hmm. Didn't have Twitter. Didn't have Instagram. I still don't. You're telling me like, well, I did a little bit, but you know, like, but speaking is the way. So if you have nothing else, you have your story. And that story can be put into posts. That story can be put onto stages. That story can be put into a system that easily sells online. That story can be put into webinars. That story can be put into anything, really. And your story will, first of all, make a difference in people's lives. This is the first key. Not to just focus on making money for yourself, but focus on adding value and making difference in people's lives. And then it will also make you money and get you to where you can begin to build your dream. So like right now, my dream is traveling the world with my kids, right? It's my current dream, going to wild places, wild destinations with my kids all over me. That might not be your dream. Probably some people that might be your nightmare. But whatever your dream is, it starts with sharing your story and speaking, putting it together in a way that putting it together in a package, putting together your expertise in a package, putting together some kind of signature program. Like I've shared, I had a signature program that was for child sponsors. So
yes. And we're going to have to wrap there, Crystal. Sorry, we're out of time. Yes. We're out of time. So we're going to put where you can get a hold of Crystal on the show notes. Anyone who wants to listen to this podcast, if you are catching it on, we have run on multiple platforms, but make sure you come and see us live on the masteryourlife.ca website. This episode will be under the Recovery Road banner. And for Crystal's offerings, you can check out the show notes beside that episode so that you can find out how to get in touch with her. Crystal, any last words?
My last words is take the next right step. Like I said, find not anybody, because I said anybody, find the right person to help you, support you in your dreams. And in particular, reach out to me because I believe in people's dreams. I create a safe place. I lend you my courage and I give you a system that works, that before you even have your program done or your speech done, you can begin to start to share and you can begin to make sales.
So can you quickly mention just now where is the best place for people to get a hold of you?
Your site.
My site. Okay, very good. All right, everyone, please. Thank you, Crystal, for being such an amazing guest. Everyone who's looking for a way to recover their health and well-being, please come, and their finances, come to the masteryourlife.ca website. Love yourselves, love each other, mind your minds. That's all for us. Bye for now, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you for being a part of our program today. Master Your Life is a presentation of Leaha Mattinson Enterprises, Inc. Join us next time on Master Your Life, helping you to discover the very best of you.